Reign as the King of Heaven, but be very careful of false pride. After this, the transcendental Surabhi cow who came with Indra to see Krishna offered her respectful obeisance unto him and worshipped him. The Surabhi offered her prayers as follows. My dear Lord Krishna, you are the most powerful of all mystic yogis, because you are a soul of the complete universe, and from you has all this cosmic manifestation taken place. Therefore Indra tried his best to kill my descendants, the cows in Vrindavan. They remained under your shelter, and you have given them protection so well. We do not know anyone else as the Supreme, nor do we go to any other God or demigod for protection. Therefore, you are our Indra. You are the Supreme Father of the whole cosmic manifestation. You are the protector and the elevator of all the cows, the brahmanas, the demigods, and others who are pure devotees of your Lordship. O Super Soul of the universe, let us bathe you with our milk, for you are our Indra. O Lord, you appear just to diminish the burden of the impure activities on the earth. When the Surabhi cow bathed Krishna with her milk, and Indra bathed him with the water of the celestial Ganges through the trunk of his elephant carrier, after this, the Surabhi cow and all the demigods with their mothers joined the heavenly King Indra in worshipping Lord Krishna by bathing him with Ganges water and milk of the Surabhi. Thus, Govinda, Lord Krishna, was pleased with all of them. The residents of the higher planetary systems, such as Gandharva Loka, Vidyahara Loka, Shita Loka, Charana Loka, all combined and glorified the Lord by chanting the holy name, by chanting his holy name. As such, they all combined together to glorify the Lord by chanting his holy name, as their wives and damsels danced with great joy. They were very much satisfied that the Lord, by incessantly pouring flowers from the sky, when everything was nicely, joyfully settled, the cows overflooded the surface of the earth with its milk, with their milk. The waters of the river began to flow with various tasty liquids and give nourishment to the trees, including producing fruits and flowers and different colors and tastes. The trees began to pour drops of honey. The hills and mountains began to produce potent medicinal plants and valuable stones. Because of Krishna's presence, all these things happened very nicely. And the lower animals, who are generally envious of one another, were envious no longer. After satisfying Lord Krishna, who is the Lord of the cows in Vrindavan, and who is known as Govinda, King Indra took his permission to return to the heavenly kingdom. As he passed through the cosmic space, he was surrounded by all kinds of demigods. This great incident is a powerful example of how Krishna consciousness can benefit the world. Even the lower animals forgot their envious nature and became elevated to the qualities of the demigods. Thus ends the Bhakti-Vedanta purport on the 27th chapter of Krishna prayers by King Indra, the King of Heaven. So Lord Indra's Abhishek. The waters of the river began to flow with various tasty liquids and give nourishment to the trees, producing fruits and flowers in different colors and tastes. The trees began to pour drops of honey, and the mountain began to produce potent medicinal plants and valuable stones. It's like our abhisheks, they're full of different fruits, different colors, different tasty liquids. This is similar to the abhishek we have for Lord Krishna. Chapter 28. Releasing Nanda Maharaj from the clutches of Karuna. The Govardhan Puja ceremony took place on the new moon day. After this, there were torrents of rain and hailstorms imposed by King Indra for 7 days. 9 days of the waxing moon having passed, and on the 10th day, King Indra worshipped Lord Krishna, and thus the matter was satisfactorily settled. After this, on the 11th day of the full moon, Kadashi, Maharaj Nanda observed the whole day fasting. And early in the morning, on the next day, Dwadasi, he went to take bath in the river Jamuna. He entered deep into the waters of the river, and he was arrested immediately by one of the servants of Varuna Dev. This servant brought Nanda Maharaj before the demigod Varuna and accused him of taking his bath in the river at the wrong time. According to astronomical calculations, the time in which he took a bath was considered demoniac. The fact is that Nanda Maharaj wanted to take bath in the river Jamuna early in the morning before sunrise, but somehow or another he was a little bit too early, and he bathed at an inauspicious time. Consequently, he was arrested. When Nanda Maharaj was taken away by one of Varuna's servants, Nanda's companion began to call out very loudly for Krishna and Balaram. Immediately, Krishna and Balaram could understand. Immediately, Krishna and Balaram could understand that Nanda Maharaj had been taken away by the servants of Varuna. And thus they went to the abode of Varuna, for they were pledged to give protection to the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who were all unalloyed devotees of the Lord. Devotees, having no shelter other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, naturally cry to Him for help, exactly like children who do not know anything but the protection of their parents. The demigod Varuna received Lord Krishna and Balaram with great respect and said, "My dear Lord, actually, at this very moment, because of your presence, my life as the demigod Varuna has become successful. Although I am proprietor of all the creatures in the waters, I know that such possessions do not make for a successful life. But at this moment, as I look at you, my life is made completely successful, because by seeing you, I no longer have to accept a material body. Therefore, O Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Supreme Brahman, and the Super Soul of everything, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. You are the Supreme Transcendental Personality. There is no possibility of your imposing the influence. There is no possibility of imposing the influence of the mode of nature upon you. I am very sorry that my foolish man, not knowing what to do or what not to do, has mistakenly arrested your father, Nanda Maharaj. So I beg you to pardon for the offences of my servant. I think it was your plan to show me mercy." and to show mercy to by your personal presence here. My dear Lord Krishna, Govinda, be merciful upon me. Here is your father. You can take him back immediately. In this way, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, rescued his father and presented him before his friends, bringing them great jubilation. Nanda Maharaj he was surprised that although the demigod was so opulent, he had offered such respect to Krishna. That was very astonishing to Nanda, and he began to describe the incidents to his friends and relatives with great wonder. Actually, although Krishna was acting so wonderfully, Maharaj Nanda and Mother Jasoda could not think of him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Instead, they always accepted him as their beloved child. Thus, Nanda Maharaj did not accept the fact that Varuna had worshipped Krishna because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, he took it that because Krishna was such a wonderful child, he had been respected even by Varuna. The friends of Nanda Maharaj and the cowherdmen became eager to know if Krishna was actually the Supreme Personality, or if he's going to give them all salvation. When they were all thus consulting among themselves, Krishna understood their minds, and in order to assist them in their destiny in the spiritual kingdom, he showed them the spiritual sky. Generally, ordinary persons are engaged simply in working hard in the material world, and they have no information that there is another kingdom or another sky, which is known as the spiritual sky, where life is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, a person returning to that spiritual sky never returns to this material world of death and suffering. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always eager to give information to the conditioned souls that there is a spiritual sky far, far beyond the material sky, transcendental to the innumerable universes created within this total material energy. Krishna is, of course, always very kind to every conditioned soul. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, he is especially inclined towards the pure devotees. Hearing their inquiries, Lord Krishna immediately thought that his devotees in Vrindavan should be informed of the spiritual sky and the Vaikuntha planets herein. Within the material world, every conditioned soul is in the darkness of ignorance. This means that all the conditioned souls are under the concept of bodily existence. Everyone is under the impression that he is of this material world. And with this conception of life, everyone is working in great ignorance in different forms of life. The activities of the particular type of body are called karma, or fruitive action. All conditioned souls, under the impression of the bodily concept, are working according to their particular type of body. These activities are creating their future condition of life. Because they have very little information of the spiritual world, they generally do not take to spiritual activities, which are called bhakti yoga. Those who successfully practice bhakti yoga go directly to the spiritual world after giving up the present body, and there they become situated in one of the Vaikuntha planets. The inhabitants of Vrindavan are all pure devotees. Their destination after quitting their body is Krishna Loka. They even surpass the Vaikuntha Lokas. The fact is that those who are always engaged in Krishna consciousness and mature, pure devotees they are giving the chance after death to gain Krishna's association in one of the universes within the material world. Krishna's pastimes are continually going on, either in this universe or another universe. Just as the sun globe is passing over many places across the earthly planet, so Krishna Leela, or the transcendental event and pastimes of Krishna, are also going on continuously, either in this or another universe. The mature devotees who have completely executed Krishna consciousness are immediately transferred to the universe where Krishna is appearing. In that universe, the devotees get their first opportunity to associate with Krishna personally and directly. The training goes on, as we see in the Vrindavan Leela of Krishna within this planet. Krishna therefore revealed the actual feature of the Vaikuntha planets, so the inhabitants of Vrindavan could know their destination. Thus Krishna showed them the eternal, ever-existing spiritual sky, which is full and full of unlimited knowledge. This material world, there are different grades and forms, and according to the grade of knowledge is proportionately manifested. For example, the knowledge of the body of a child is not so perfect as the knowledge of the body of an adult man. Everywhere there are different grades of living entities. In aquatics, animals, in plants and trees, in all the reptiles and insects, the birds and beasts, and in the civilized and uncivilized human forms of life. Above the human form of life there are demigods, charanas, shidas, on up to Brahmaloka, where Lord Brahma lives. And among these demigods there are always different grades of knowledge. But beyond this material world, there is a spiritual sky. Everyone is full of knowledge, and therefore all the living entities who are engaged in devotional service to the Lord, either in the Vaikuntha planets or in Krishna Loka. It's confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Full knowledge means knowing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Vedas and Bhagavad Gita it is also stated that the Brahmajyoti, the spiritual sky, there is no need of sunlight, moonlight, or electricity. All the planets there are self-illuminating. All of them are eternally situated. There is no question of creation and annihilation in the Brahmajyoti, or the spiritual sky. In Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Gita also confirms, beyond the material sky there is another eternal spiritual sky, where everything is existing eternally. Direct knowledge of the spiritual sky can be had only by great sages and saintly persons who have already surpassed the influence of the three modes of material nature by engaging in devotional service or Krishna consciousness. Unless one is constantly situated on that transcendental platform, it is not possible to understand the spiritual nature. Therefore, it is recommended that one should take to bhakti yoga and keep himself engaged 24 hours a day in Krishna consciousness, which places one beyond the reaches of the modes of material nature. One in Krishna consciousness can easily understand the nature of the spiritual sky and Vaikuntha. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, being always engaged in Krishna consciousness, could therefore very easily understand the transcendental nature of Vaikuntha. Thus Krishna led all the cowherd boys, headed by Nanda Maharaj, to the lake where Akrura was later shown the Vaikuntha planetary system. they also took their bath immediately, and they saw the real nature of the Vaikuntha Lokas. After seeing the spiritual sky and the Vaikuntha Lokas, all the men headed by Nanda Maharaj felt wonderfully blissful. And upon coming out of the lake, they saw Krishna, who was being worshipped with excellent prayers. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport, the 28th chapter of Krishna, releasing Nanda Maharaj from the clutches of Varuna. Prabhupada is talking about how these universes, Krishna's pastimes are constantly going through the different universes. Somewhere now today, Krishna is lifting Govardhan Hill. Now we are just reading this chapter. Nanda Maharaj, he had a vision of the Vaikuntha Loka. In another place that will be going on. As it finishes here, it starts in another place. Prabhupada gave an example in Hyderabad, and they were installing the deities there. I think Madan Mohanji. And Srila Prabhupada was speaking, and he said that tomorrow is Sri Krishna Janamastami, and we will install the deities here, and they'll move in the new temple, and we'll install the deities here in Hyderabad. And then he said, the next day, the day after tomorrow, again exactly the same thing will happen in a different place, a different universe. So he said, this is called Nitya Leela. It's eternally going on. So here Nanda Maharaj and the cow of Maimur, blessed by Krishna, who revealed the spiritual world, the Vaikuntha Lokas, the Vaikuntha planets they could see. And Prabhupada said, after they all saw the spiritual world, or the Vaikuntha world, Prabhupada said the training goes on. Even they got exalted positions. They're serving Krishnas in Vrindavan here in this Leela, but on the earthly planet. They are serving Krishna. They see Krishna face to face. They have relationships with Krishna as parents and child, mothers, friends, lovers. But they have all these relationships. All these different relationships are going on. And they're seeing Krishna directly face to face. They went to this planet where Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago at that time. That was being revealed to them. So Prabhupada says the training goes on. So even you're up there with Krishna, you're serving Krishna somewhere in the material universe where Krishna is appearing. You're serving Krishna, you're seeing Krishna, you're with Krishna, you're playing with Krishna. So Prabhupada said the training goes on, you still a little bit more perfection. From this material world you go to that universe where Krishna is performing pastimes. This is for further training. Even you're already there with Krishna and you see Krishna and you're engaged in pastime. The training still goes on. And Prabhupada also said, he said generally this is the process that the devotees, they take birth in the universe where Krishna is appearing. This is their last birth. They associate with the Nitya Siddhas, and from that birth they go back to Godhead. They don't come back again. But Prabhupada said, but for the pujaris, they will go directly back. Because whole life they're serving Krishna. They know what Krishna wants, what he likes, how to serve him. what to give him, what not to give him, because they've engaged themselves in his service, whole life in serving Krishna, then they know how to serve Krishna. So Prabhupada said that the pujaris who have absorbed themselves in Krishna service all day, they will go straight back because already they know what Krishna likes and they know how to please and serve him because of serving the deity whole life. Hare Krishna. This is chapter 29, the Rasa Dance Introduction. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the Rasa Dance took place on the full moon night of the Sarat season. From the statements of previous chapters, it appears that the festival of Govardhan Hill was performed just after the dark moon night in the month of Kartik, and thereafter the ceremony of Bratra Dvitiya was performed. Then the wrath of Indra was exhibited in the shape of torrents of rain and hailstones, and Lord Krishna lifted up Govardhan Hill for 7 days until the 9th day of the moon. Thereafter, on the 10th day, the inhabitants of Vrindavan were talking among themselves about the wonderful activities of Krishna, and the next day, Ekadashi, was observed by Maharaj Nanda. On the next day, Dwadasi, Nanda Maharaj went to take his bath in the Ganges and was arrested by one of the men of Varuna. He was released by Lord Krishna. Then Nanda Maharaj, along with the cowmen, was shown the spiritual sky. In this way, the full moon night of Sarat season came to an end. The full moon night of Ashwina is called Sharat Purnima. It appears from the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna had to wait another year for such a moon before enjoying his rasa dance with the Gopis. At the age of 7 years, he lifted Govardhan Hill, and therefore the rasa dance took place during his 8th year. From the Vedic literatures we understand that when a theatrical actor dances amongst many dancing girls, the group dance is called a rasa dance. When Krishna saw the full moon night of the Sharat season decorated with seasonal flowers, especially the Mallika flowers, which are very fragrant, he remembered the Gopis' prayers to Goddess Katyayani, wherein they prayed for Krishna to be their husband. He thought that the full moon night of the Sarat season was just suitable for a nice dance. So the desire to have Krishna as their husbands would be fulfilled. The words used in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam are Bhagavan Api. This means that although Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus has no desire that needs to be fulfilled, because he is always full of the 6 opulences, still he wanted to enjoy the company of the Gopis in the rasa dance. Bhagavan Api signifies that this is not exactly like ordinary dancing of young boys and young girls. These specific words used in Srimad Bhagavatam are Yogamayam Upashrita, which means that this dancing with the Gopis is on the platform of Yogamaya, not Mahamaya. The dancing of the young boys and girls within the material world is in the kingdom of Mahamaya, or the external energy. The rasa dance of Krishna with the Gopis is on the platform of Yogamaya. The difference between the platforms of Yogamaya and Mahamaya is compared to, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, be the difference between gold and iron. From the viewpoint of metallurgy, gold and iron are both metals, but the quality is completely different. Similarly, although the rasa dance and Lord Krishna's association with the Gopis appears like ordinary mixing of young boys and girls, is completely different. The difference is appreciated by great Vaishnavas because they can understand the difference between love of Krishna and lust. On the Mahamaya platform, dances take place on the basis of sense gratification. But when Krishna called the Gopis by sounding his flute, the Gopis very hurriedly rushed towards the spot of the rasa dance with a transcendental desire to satisfy Krishna. The author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj, has explained that lust means sense gratification, and love also means sense gratification, but for Krishna. In other words, when activities are enacted for Krishna, when activities are enacted on the platform of personal sense gratification, they are called material activities. But when they are enacted for the satisfaction of Krishna, they are called spiritual activities. On any platform of activities, the principle of sense gratification is there. But on the spiritual platform, sense gratification is for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, whereas on the material platform, it is for the performer. For example, on the material platform, when a servant serves his master, he is trying to satisfy not the master, he is trying to satisfy not the senses of his master, but rather his own senses. The servant would not serve the master if the payment stopped. That means that the servant engages himself in the service of the master just to satisfy his senses. On the spiritual platform, however, the servitor and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, they serve Krishna without payment, but he continues his service in all conditions. It is mentioned above, it is mentioned that Krishna enjoyed the Ras dance with the Gopis when he was 8 years old. At that time, many of the Gopis were married, because in India, especially in those days, the girls were married at a very early age. There are even many instances of girls giving birth to a child at the age of 12. Under the circumstances, all the Gopis who wanted to have Krishna as their husband were already married, and at the same time they continued to hope that Krishna would be their husband. Their attitude towards Krishna was that of a parama lover, and therefore the loving affairs of Krishna with the Gopis are called Parakiyarasa, the attitude of a married man who desires the wife of another. The attitude of a married man who desires another wife, or a wife who desires another husband, is called Parikiya. Actually, Krishna is the husband of everyone because he is the supreme enjoyer. The Gopis wanted Krishna to be their husband, but factually it was not possible of his marrying all the Gopis. But because they had a natural tendency to accept Krishna as their supreme husband, the relationship between the Gopis and Krishna is called Parakiyarasa. This Parakiyarasa is ever existent in Goloka Vrindavan, which characterizes Parakiyarasa in the material world. This Parakiyarasa is existent ever in Goloka Vrindavan, in the spiritual sky, where there is no possible of the inebriety which characterize Parakiyarasa in the material world. In the material world, Parakiyarasa is abominable, whereas in the spiritual world, it is present in the super excellent relationship of Krishna and the Gopis. There are many relationships with Krishna: master and servant, friend and friend, parent and son, lover and beloved. Out of all these rasas, the Parakiyarasa is considered to be the topmost. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ramo, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bhagavan Shri Krishna ki jai. Krishna Parakiyarasa ki jai. Hare Krishna. One question from Radhika Ravi Shankar. Hare Krishna Prabhu, how do we focus 24/7 on the lotus feet of Krishna? On the lotus feet of Krishna, like how you are engaged throughout your deeds and thoughts and actions and thoughts. Hare Krishna Prabhu, how do we focus 24/7 on the lotus feet of Krishna, like how you are engaged throughout your deeds and actions and thoughts? By absorbing oneself in the service of Krishna. We are the eternal servants of Krishna, and our natural constitution is to serve Krishna. So, when we serve Krishna with our deeds and actions and the thoughts, actually the thought is there. First we think about serving Krishna, how we can serve. So first you think of service, then you can perform the activity. Why we are performing this service? Oh, it's Krishna likes this particular seva, so we are performing the activity for the pleasure of Krishna. We're not just performing activity in service of activity, but we're performing the activity with the intention of satisfying Krishna by the activity. This activity is for Krishna's satisfaction, not mine. Idam Krishnaya, idam namama, when they're doing the yagna. This is for you, Krishna, this is not for me. In my own example, when I first met Prabhupada's books, and I was reading the books, and Krishna kept jumping out the pages, especially Krishna book. Yeah, Krishna jumps out the pages sometimes. So, and Prabhupada was saying that everywhere Krishna is jumping out the pages of Prabhupada's in Bhagavatam. And devotional service, it keeps coming again and again. You are Krishna's servant, He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you should be serving Him for His pleasure. Devotional service. So I thought, devotional service, okay, you cannot deny this is what Prabhupada is emphasizing on every page. Because we are the eternal servants of Krishna. So I thought I'd give it a try, this Krishna consciousness a try. And I'll completely absorb myself 24 hours a day in service of Krishna and see what the result will be. And I said for 2 years I will absorb myself in Krishna Seva, and then after 2 years I will estimate whether I want to stay in ISKCON or I want to go somewhere else, if I want to serve Krishna or do something else or serve something else rather than Krishna. Anyway, so Krishna fulfilled my desire that you want to be absorbed in devotional service. So you come to Mayapur and you can serve the deity Radha Madhava you can serve them there 24 hours a day. So I had to be engaged 24 hours a day because there's only one pujari, that was me at that time. So I had to be engaged in devotional service because there was no other one there. So 4 or 5 devotees were there. They were all doing other services. So I had to be completely absorbed in devotional service. And then for 2 years passed, then 20 years passed, then 40 years passed. And I thought, well, gee, I was supposed to have a re-evaluation after 2 years. But Krishna Consciousness is so nice, you forget everything. Even time is... So Krishna helped me fulfill that desire. Yeah, to become absorbed in devotions. Then one becomes peaceful, one becomes completely satisfied because he's constitutionally situated perfectly in his constitutional nature. Jipaya Sarupaya Nitya Krishna Das. As eternal servant of Krishna. So like that, you engage us. Prabhupada gives example, Lord his name is Hirishikesh, the master of the senses. So we engage our senses, not for our own satisfaction, but for the master of the senses, Hirishikesh. So we're engaging our senses in the senses of Hirishikesh to please Krishna in all of our activities and deeds. Thank you for the nice question. Thank you, Radhika Ravi Shankar. A question from Milan Madhav Das. Milan Madhav, very good. From Gornaga, yes. He was named after Madhava. Milan Madhava. Milan means meeting. So meeting with Madhava. You know why he got this name? At that time he was born, his mother, when he was a young boy, he asked to give a name. So that time was a flood was coming, the Ganga come and flooded the area. So it was like Ganga was trying many, many years to come and touch the feet of Krishna, Radha Madhava, but she never did it. But this year was a special year, and Ganga was trying to come, but then the other rivers, Ojai River, and another river, they also burst the banks and they come down and they join Ganga, and then they were able to rise and touch the lotus feet of Radha Madhava. So we call that the Milan, the meeting of Gangas and Milan Madhavas. The Ganga and Madhava, their meeting. The Milan, so Milan Madhava Das. Pankajanga gave the name. Hare Krishna, Milan Madhava. Please accept my pranams. Can you please explain how Parakiyarasa is present in the spiritual world? Nice question. How Parakiyarasa is present in the spiritual world? Yeah, because there in the spiritual world they don't have husbands. So how can that Parakiyarasa go on? There is no husbands there. But the sentiment of husband is there. They think they have husbands. Krishna is going to perform the rasa dance. He's playing his flute, calling all the Gopis. The Gopis are married. And they're thinking, I'm a married girl. I cannot go in the middle of the night to see Krishna. It's wrong. It's not lawful. It's immoral. I will be chastised. I will be ostracized from the society. I cannot go. That sentiment is that they're married, but still somehow or another they rise above their sentiment and they go, but they still keep their maintenance that my husband, he may be here somewhere. So the sentiment is there. Just like there's no baby pastimes in Krishna. When he was a small baby, those pastimes are not all there, but the sentiment of being a baby is there. And many times you see how Jasoda picks Krishna and she feeds him her breast milk, and already they're quite old, they're not supposed to be drinking breast milk. But Mother Jasoda has that sentiment, he is my darling boy, he is I have to look after him, he'll get hungry, he'll die. So, yes, so the sentiment is there. Like demons also. There's so many demons, Krishna is coming to Vrindavan, but in the spiritual world, the thought of the demon is there, but demons are not actually there. Now they're talking, they think, so something reminds them of Putana. Hey, Putana. They're all shaking. It's Putana. The big Rakshasi. She's come to kill Krishna. She's come to kill our bhakti. They're all shivering. Fear. Just hearing the name of Putana. So the sentiment of demons and husbands and babies there. But it's just a sentiment. But due to Yogamayas, we are thinking this is a reality, it's a real, the demons are real, the baby person, the husbands are real. Yeah, so that's how it's present in the spiritual world, the Parakiyarasa is present in the spiritual world by sentiment. And this is the highest sentiment according to the Srimad Krishna book we just read. Thank you very much, Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.